Most small YouTubers are making these mistakes and it's costing them a lot of views, and it turns out they're pretty easily avoidable. So tell us, what is the first mistake, Jake, that people really need to avoid?
Yeah, so the first mistake is not knowing the strategy of each one of your videos before you go and make your videos. Why are you making this video? Are you trying to rank in search? Are you trying to get traffic from like browse and suggested? Knowing those answers is going to kind of determine how you write your titles and how you structure your videos.
That's definitely one of the biggest mistakes that I'm seeing people making. And honestly, I tell people to not even make their video until they know their title and maybe even have an idea for your thumbnail. Not everyone needs to make their thumbnails beforehand, but knowing the strategy. Are you trying to let YouTube recommend this to a broad audience? Or are you trying to search for a very specific keyword, and that needs to reflect in the way that you structure your thumbnail and your title very specifically as well. And so I love that tip. The next mistake that we often see people make though is that they just get way too specific with their titles. Can you kind of explain where the mistakes that people are making here?
Yeah, definitely. So here's an example of being too specific. The first title was How to Save an NBA Bust, the Markelle Fultz story. Title B was the NBA bust that's making a big comeback. Title B increased the CTR by 27%, and it was much more broad, right? Because this was trying to get suggested, on the homepage and suggested after you watch a video. So you need to be kind of broad. Zoom out. Give people labels, talking in extremes, tell stories, not be in the nitty gritty by using people's specific names. That's what YouTube wants. It wants your titles to attract a broader audience.
Now, on the flip side of things, if you decide that this is going to be a search video, you want to try and rank in search, you might fall into the next mistake, Jake, which explain what this one is.
So the next mistake people make is they are too broad with their titles. If you're trying to rank in search, then you need to answer your audience's question kind of specifically, right? The audience is trying to, when they're searching, they're like, all right, where is the answer to my question? So they're looking through YouTube. If you have too broad of a title, then, they're not gonna be like, oh, this definitely answers my question. They're gonna be like, this is not what I'm searching for, pass, they're gonna scroll on by. So you do need to be a little specific if you're trying to rank in search.
Yeah, that's a big mistake. Just stick to the search keyword, or at least just put yourself in that person's shoes and say, if it's titled this and I'm looking for that, is it clear enough? And I think clarity is one of the main things here that you need to ask yourself when you're ranking in search.
So the next mistake that people make is that their titles are too long. One, YouTube will truncate your title, right? So what that means is it'll just mean, it's a fancy word for cutting it off. The worst mistake you can make here is making your main topic after the ... right? They're scrolling by and they don't see the reason why people would click because it got cut off, then your video is going nowhere there. Also, people are lazy, right? When they're scrolling through YouTube, they don't want to spend the time to read every single word of your 15-word title, right? You need to shorten it up a little bit. You need to be as concise as possible while still writing a great title. So here is an example of how, shortening a title up actually helped increase the CTR. Cybersecurity for freelancers and SMBs, 7 tips they don't teach you. That was title A. Title B is 7 cybersecurity tips for freelancers. That second shorter title increased the CTR by 22%. By focusing your title on only freelancers. In this case, that helped. 7 tips they don't teach you. At the end of that, there's a good chance the audience didn't even make it that far.
Now, that example is actually one of the videos that you A/B tested to figure out how to get more views. And you did this with 103 different YouTube videos, and you turned it into a book. Can you just explain a little bit about this experiment?
I love data. I'm a data nerd, and I'm learning all these things on YouTube, but I wanted to kind of actually get some concrete data so that I can share with everybody so that you can make decisions based on data and not just based on what some random YouTube guru is telling you, right? And it's a $7 book that can help you get more views by writing better titles. It'll save you time. You can use it as templates to get ideas, so definitely check that out.
And we use this book at Think Media to help come up with video ideas. And then we just use your book actually as templates when we're crafting up titles. And so check it out. Link is down in the description.
So the next mistake is not looking at past data. There are no real shortcuts to success on YouTube, but this is as close as it gets. Modeling success is the easiest and fastest way to grow on YouTube. Even if your channel is small, even if you're new to YouTube, you can look at your competitors' channels, see what worked for them. You can also see what didn't work for them, right? So if you have a video idea, you might say, well, man, I really think this is going to do well. You can search for it and see, did previous videos about that subject do well? And if they did, and if those videos flopped, then you might want to think twice about making those videos. So using past data is the best way to kind of ensure that you're not wasting your time producing videos that nobody wants to watch.
That's what this platform is about. You're making content to be shared with other people. Knowing who those viewers are is going to help you make content that better suits the people watching your content, which ultimately is what you need to do if you want to grow a YouTube channel.
Yeah, and this brings us to the most important mistake that you should not make, and that's not knowing your audience. So that's like just the prerequisite of success in anything on YouTube. You need to know what their hopes, dreams, fears, goals are. You need to know what they want to achieve, what they don't want to achieve. Here's an example from is a visual effects channel. We recreated a shot from Obi-Wan Kenobi that had 105,000 views, right? That did really well. But then we have breaking down the story structure of Jurassic Park. And that video only got 22,000 views. The first one was about visual effects. The second one was about breaking down the story structure, right? Story structure is like screenwriting, right? It's not visual effects. People probably come to this channel for visual effects tips, right? They're not screenwriters. Just really knowing why your audience comes to you. And it could be something very specific like this, knowing why people watch your channel and what the right topics and the wrong topics are for your channel will help you avoid the videos that flop and help you avoid one of these big mistakes that many YouTubers make.
Now, Jake actually played a big part in me starting this brand new YouTube channel where I was able to get like over 100,000 views within the first 30 days. And we talked all about it and gave some really good tips for people who are just getting started out on YouTube. So click on the screen, go check out that conversation, and we'll see you guys in the next video.